think I'm live. Maybe. In theory. Alright, if you can hear me and if I sound alright, hit that number 1 if you don't mind. I do have a fan blowing on me, so if it does sound a bit sketchy, let me know. In fact, I'll just turn off the fan. It's not too bad. Giannis. Again, if I sound okay, if you don't mind hitting that number 1 to ensure that this is all operating as it should. I'd hate to be doing a stream and then have it be not auto. Okay, now I'm a little worried. All right, Marshall, thank you. Can I get a few more ones just so I can be at ease that the mic does sound okay? Number 1 in the chat if the mic sounds okay. Alan Sazur. Okay, I will assume that it does sound all right. Well, welcome everybody to a totally, well, I guess technically I'm a little early. That's okay though. Char, thank you. Jay, thank you. Excellent. Well, welcome to the first ever Saturday night live stream. This is, I highly, I guess never say never. If this happens, if there's a ton of viewers and there's a ton of likes, who knows? Donald, hey, maybe I'll do this again. But the backdrop of this is my family. We live in Iowa. My family, my wife especially, is from Michigan, so we will be. I will be gone in a couple weeks for a vacation. But my wife and family went back. So long story short, I'm in bachelor mode. I don't know what to do with my life right now. I'm so bored. No kids. My wife isn't here. So I don't know. Last night I was meandering around Walmart trying to figure out what I was going to pick out, get for food. So yes, I have nothing else going on right now. I am bored. So I thought, let's just try a Saturday night one. See how that goes. I kind of know how the Saturday morning ones go. Hey, Al Bernie, hello. But yes, like I said, I doubt I'll do this anytime soon again on a Saturday night, but who knows? If the numbers are really good, maybe I can talk to my wife like, hey, that actually Saturday night is a really, really good time. But so if you are here, I guess it depends where you're at. If you are out in California, I suppose it's only about 5 o'clock, so you wouldn't call this Saturday night, or if you're somewhere else in the world. But here, as far as I always operate on Eastern time, it is 8 o'clock, almost 8 o'clock Eastern. So the way this works, if you've never been here, is this is all viewer driven. I will do an analysis on a stock, on a crypto, on a futures, on a forex. If you have questions about prop firms or futures, because mainly I am a futures day trader that uses a prop firm, but this is all driven by you. So if there's not really any requests or interactions or questions, then I'll just consider this a failure, and I'll definitely never be back on a Saturday night. So this is all definitely driven by you, the viewers. So yes, if you have a request for anything, because a chart is a chart, whether that is a stock or futures or crypto or anything like that, let me know in the chat box, and I will do an analysis on it. And now is the time to make requests, because if this goes anything like what's been in the past, more people show up, more requests, questions start to come in, and then I can no longer really guarantee that I'm going to get to your request or question. And the only guarantee is the $5 super chat. But right now, definitely don't do a $5 super chat, because, like I said, not a single person has made even a request right now. So really, nobody has a request on anything. Is that what I'm to conclude? That nobody has any sort of curiosity about anything? They're just no questions, no prop firm strategy talk, nothing. Is that what I'm gathering from this? Like I said, this usually it's not viewer driven because I'm trading, so I have something to watch. But the futures market is closed, so I literally have nothing to talk about unless people start to interact and give questions or requests. Oh boy, well this might be the shortest live stream ever. Apparently everybody here is. Thank you, no, Google. All right, let's take a look at Google. Good grief, people. Come on now. All right. Well, Google is lagging here a little bit. There we go. Lagging in the sense of, well, let's set up a little backbone or a baseline here. So there's the Qs. Qs are at all-time highs. So Q being the NASDAQ, and then that's when we hop back over here to take a look at Google. Then you can see right here that Google is not actually anywhere close to all-time highs, but Google here, the main area of resistance that I would say headed into next week, right here at the 181 mark. Very, very nice way to close out the week, though, I should say, on Friday. Good green candle, good solid volume right there. So, yeah, key area of resistance headed into next week right there, 181. Let's drop down and take a look at the 30-minute. Huh? All right, so what's the story on Google? What was the news? What happened the last 30 minutes of the day? Does anybody, do you know, no? Something happened. I don't know what happened, but really that's the nice thing about charts is you don't even really need to know what happened. You just know that something happened because look at that. Yeah, this is the 30-minute time frame. So each of these candles represents 30 minutes. So last 30 minutes, holy smokes. Well, this happened with PLT. Is this, I'm curious, is this coinciding with PLTR? Because PLTR did the exact opposite. Look at that, last 30 minutes. Just ba-boom to the downside. So I'm just speculating, but that is weird to see last 30 minutes PLTR just totally flush. And then last 30 minutes, Google absolutely exploded the upside. Let's drop to the 5 minutes. So, okay, basically the last 5 minutes and then PLTR. When did that actually happen? Okay, basically the last 10 minutes of the day. So when we narrow, let's go to the 1 minute now, just to really narrow. Okay. Yeah, essentially the last 10 minutes of the day, because now we're not looking at the daily time or 30, we're looking at the 1 minute. But yeah, last portion of the day, just bloodshed here on PLTR, yet on Google, the exact opposite, ba-boom to the upside. So, But yeah, either way, let's go back to at least the 5 minute here. Why not? Yeah, you can't really tell a whole lot on Google now because other than the last portion of the day just exploded, and then 30 minute, maybe a back test and go type situation, key area of support right there. So if you're some sort of trader, I mean, you don't want to chase, but I mean, do you have it come down here, get the back test and go, or retest the previous breakup point right there? Maybe. But yeah, what an interesting chart. No, I don't know. An outperform rating wouldn't do that. Yeah, that is interesting. So do you use fundamentals in your? No way. Nope. No time for fundamentals in day trading. Let's see. NQ. All right, taking a look at NQ. All right. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. By the way, if you enjoy these, make sure you hit that like button. I'm still not sure if this is even worth it to do these Saturday live streams, if I'm being brutally honest. But yes, if you do enjoy a live stream, the like button goes a long way with that. Dominique, hello. All right, let's just take a look at NQ here on the daily. And oh no, are we at all-time highs? I don't think so. Let's see. All right, we were knocking on the door. So this high right here, basically 22,800. So yeah, I guess the price did poke its head, but we were basically okay. So this is definitely very interesting here headed into Monday because we have this area of resistance right here, and now the price is essentially right at that area of resistance. So it becomes a very valid question right now to throw out there: is this going to be some sort of double top? Is this going to be yo? Jim's in the house. So yeah, we have, well, I already told people, Jim, I'm bored out of my mind. I don't know. I was talking with Jim on the phone earlier and I was like, Jim, I will talk to you for the next 5 hours because I don't know what's going on. But Jim was like, man, I got to go. I have a life. I'm like, okay, fine, scumbag. So here I am on the live stream. But yes, I'm in bachelor mode right now. My family's gone, so I don't know what to do with myself. But anyways, I am new to Take Prep Trader. Can I do Saturday also for the test? No, the futures market is closed on Saturdays. It'll open, but it being the futures market will open back up Sunday at 6 p.m. And then throughout the course of the week, it'll close for 1 hour every day. It closes at 5 p.m. Eastern and then opens back up at 6 p.m. But yeah, no, you cannot do anything futures-wise on a Saturday because the futures market, that is the one day where it is actually closed for the entire day. But anyways, back to this. So we have key area of resistance right there, and the price is now right at that level, which is where resistance becomes a very valid question. Is this going to be some sort of double top where the price then gets rejected back down? No, I'm not saying it crashes or anything like that. But yes, the last time the price was up around this area, there was a pullback here. So we'll see if that history repeats itself at all. But yeah, that is definitely a very, very, very interesting dynamic. I don't think. Yeah, all right, that is the high. So do we get some sort of double top? Let's check out the hourly time frame. So 60-minute has revealed that, yeah, the price does apparently care about that purple line right there. Not shocking to see that. That is the 50-period simple moving average. So the price came down there during all that craziness. What was that? I think it was the Canada news about Trump. I'm done with Canada or whatever. So that's what created the big fall. And then it did recover quite nicely. But what a surprise. What a coincidence, right? Where it decided to bounce right there at that 50-period moving average. So going into next week, I'd continue to watch that as, there's no guarantee. So it's not like the price would be guaranteed to bounce off that purple line. But certainly in an area to keep an eye on. And if the price does come down there, worth keeping an eye on from a support standpoint. Let's go to the 30-minute. Was it the 10-year Treasury? Yeah, the 10-year bond is something that I believe to keep an eye on from an economic standpoint. But the bonds have pretty much leveled out. They're not really going crazy anymore. So that's a good sign. On the 30-minute here, I don't think there's a whole lot going on. I mean, I suppose you could get some sort of... Well, I take that back. 30-minute, we do have... Why is that not deleting? Oh, well, in the 30-minute, we have a little miniature bull pennant here. We have that area of resistance. If we just use that purple line there, 50 period, as our trend line here, and then you draw that up like that. And for you golfers, up with the golf ball down here, a nice little bull pennant on the 30-minute. So yes, does this bull pennant get a break to the upside on Monday? We'll see what happens. And yeah, 5-minute same journal idea. We have this bullish pennant move right there. But yeah, I realize a 5-minute doesn't really mean a whole lot unless you're some sort of day trader. Little bull flag. Yeah, on the 30-minute, I'd probably call it more of a bull pennant. But I mean, if you want to call this a bull flag, I'm not going to get into a fist fight with you over it. But yeah, there's the NQ. Again, if you have a request and you want me to get to it right away, $5 super chats make that happen. But if you have nothing going on and you're in no rush, then I will, I'm just working my way down from the chat. But if you have something that is pressing, then a $5 super chat, I will get to it right away because it pops up and will notify me right away. But again, if you're in no rush, if it's not like a make or break, then no need to do that. Let's see. ES for GB. So I'm guessing probably going to be pretty similar to what I just talked about here. Ooh, okay, wait. Or is GS maybe at all-time highs? Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so the big difference here with the ES, which again is just the futures for the S&P 500, is that, yeah, this one is actually broken up through the highs. Whereas what we just looked at, the NQ, which again is measuring the NASDAQ, has not. So really this one is not a question of will this be a double top. Now, if you do believe that the ES tends to drag the NQ, well, this is suggesting that that the NQ might have a breakout coming because the ES is already up above it. So will the ES kind of quote unquote drag it up through the key resistance on its daily? That remains to be seen. You mean Sunday? Yeah, maybe. If I said Monday, then I didn't mean Sunday evening. You're right. Yeah, because again, futures open up Sunday evening. So yes, probably. I'm not sure what exactly you're referring to, but I can see myself referring to something on Monday. So yeah, ES is actually already at all-time highs. We had I don't remember the exact context, but be very careful just saying, hey, something's at all-time highs, so it's probably going to need a pullback, so let me just start to get short or start to be very bearish biased. Be very careful of that because prices can tend, when they go to new highs, to just start to go through these strange grinds where, I don't know, let me see, can I... like right here, for example. So right here, at this moment in time, when the price... So you can see this, at one moment, this was an all-time high. Price came up here, and you can see it got stuck right below the all-time high, and then it pushed above it. And then it's like, okay, well, there's definitely got to be a pullback. I'm going to be very bearish biased. But you can see from there, no, it steadily grinded up for a little bit before it did get a pullback. So don't just, I appreciate your attempts to keep things not making it rocket science, but you don't want to oversimplify something. So saying that, oh, we're at all-time highs, therefore it's time to be bearish biased and time to, think shorts, just be very careful with that. Tomorrow evening, I will start on TBT test. Yes, perfect. I did use code Clay. Well, thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you using code Clay. But yeah, you will be able to start tomorrow if you want at 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So go down to the hourly. So hourly, just like the NQ, found some good, solid quality support, even better here on the ES. The NQ actually dropped down below, but look at that. Thing of beauty. So does that mean it's guaranteed to provide support on, Sunday evening into Monday? No, there's no guarantees there, but, I would not call you crazy if your plan was, I'd like to see the price pull back to that purple line before I think about buying. Because again, I see the logic. Doesn't mean that it's going to bounce, but there would be logic behind that decision. Brittany, I think Brittany's cat walked across the keyboard, or mouse, or gerbil, or whatever. All right, let's see. We're at NQES. Thank you. No. Good evening. I can see Google. Nice. I love Google. How about NVIDIA? NVIDIA, I'm not going to talk about that because I talked about that. I guess. So in this video, after every day, at the end of the video, I do top 10. So if you go here, Sly Lou, NVIDIA is part of that, part of this video right here. So I'm not going to really rehash that. Wow, Saturday. Again, this is all for those of you that are going to log on. This is viewer driven. If you have a request for a stock, for futures, for crypto, for Forex, if you have a question about kind of just trading more so in general, I am a futures day trader that uses prop firms. So if you have a question about prop firms or prop firm strategy, this is all viewer driven. So I will go wherever the chat takes us. So wherever the chat wind blows, that's where I'm going to head. So, and again, whoops. If you have a very pressing question or pressing request and you want me to get to it for sure and get to it right away, $5 super chats make that happen. But that's not, by no means is that a requirement or anything. Can you check Bitcoin? I can't. All right. Yep. All right. We'll take a look at Bitcoin here. All right. Okay. Let's start. All right, so these are lines from a while ago. We'll just start afresh. All right, so the thing that you have to think that everybody and their brother's uncle has done on Bitcoin from a technical standpoint is done this. So as I draw that, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that was a great discovery or a special talent. No, the exact opposite. You got to think a lot of people have drawn that. And I'm harping on that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, Not guaranteed, but more than valid to think that those areas can create, self-fulfilling prophecies, which can create, big movements. The self-fulfilling prophecy being, let's just say the price comes up to this area and breaks through there. You can have there's again, not a guaranteed chance, but a legitimate chance that there's a group of people, a group of traders out there that are saying, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, look, that's breaking out. Oh, because I'm a breakout trader and because that's breaking out, I'm supposed to buy. And they just buy for that reason and that reason alone. And that seems to be one of those areas because you got to think a lot of people have drawn that basic trend line. So a lot of eyeballs are staring at that trend line. So again, that does not mean that if this trend line here is broken, it'll for sure create more momentum or more buying pressure or anything like that. But is it at least a valid thought to throw out there? Absolutely. So in my mind, that right there, very valid question to say, hey, if the price breaks there, is that going to create another surge of volume? Dogs of War, I'm just deleting your message just because that prop firm you nailed, you named, I'm not a fan of. But yeah, I know you had no malicious intent behind that. I'm just letting you know why I deleted your message. Not a fan, and here we're more of a take profit trader stream. Okay, Matt, do you realize the irony in that, Matt? So, Matt, that's not really a warning. Like, you already knew that. So, for you to say that is borderline bannable when you know better, yet you just said it. Borderline bannable. But good. That's great. You're getting into futures, Dogs of War. I'm happy to hear that. And I don't know if you have a baseline of day trading stocks or day trading options or crypto, but everybody so far, as far as the live stream is concerned, that has gone and tried Pam's Plant. Pam's Plant just being right here, which is an argument of day trading futures through a prop firm. But everybody that has tried that, not a single person has come back and said, I actually like day trading stocks better. I like day trading options. No, everybody's like, oh, wow. Yeah, futures are definitely the way to go. So, Dogs of War, I'm glad to hear that you are either making the move into futures or just flat out starting with futures and that you're starting with a prop firm. Next time I'll hammer your hand, Matt, and say, adios, muchacho. What is a good platform to trade futures? Levon, that's kind of a two-part question because of Pam's Plant, day trading futures through a prop firm. So for me, the first layer is, what prop firm do I use? And the prop firm that I use that I recommend, Take Profit Trader, that's the link at the top of the screen there. So the way you get to the platform that I use is, it's a two-layered step because that first layer is the prop firm itself. So assuming you want to do exactly what I'm doing, then step one would be you pick the purchasing power that you want. So you can pick the purchasing powers right here. Make sure to use code CLAY so you get the 30% off. And then after that, they'll ask you what platform do you want to use, and the one that I use is Tradeovate. The key dynamic here is you do not need to go to Tradeovate's site separately and sign up for an account and create an account. The prop firm itself will go and do that for you, which makes it really nice. You get to skip over that step. And then after the prop firm does all that, they'll send you the login information. And then at that point is when you head to Tradeovate, and then you'll just log in with that information, and then you can get started right away. So that is the platform that I'm using. Again, a two-prong attack, two-layer. Layer number one, using a prop firm. Layer number two, through that prop firm, I'm using Tradeovate. Good questions here. It's tricky trading near all-time highs. I don't know about that. I think I talked about that. I think some people overthink it. But yeah. Don't create that as a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's tricky it's tricky trading around all-time highs, and then you just plant that, and then all of a sudden you start to way overthink everything. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that or not. But anyways, back to Bitcoin here. So yes, this is definitely a breakout area that you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle has drawn into play. In the near term, there's a little bit here of a bull pennant pattern. Although if Bitcoin does break up through the bull pennant pattern, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. I just want to get too excited about it because not that high up above the breakout is going to be that big question mark point of, okay, is the price actually going to be able to break through that level? Because that could just as easily be another resistance and smack the price back down like it did right there. Hey, thanks, A Straight. Hopefully you're having a good Saturday. So let's drop down to the hourly time frame. Actually, on Bitcoin, I like the 4-hour too. So let's check out the 4-hour. See if we can learn anything. Okay. So the 4-hour, interesting dynamic here from a potential maybe pullback entry location. If you look here at the pink line, that 200 period moving average, you can see it behaved as resistance, and resistance. And then there's just a basic rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closes above, you want to see them act as support. And then you can see that it's exactly what's played out here, acted as support. So does that mean that the price comes down there, it'll once again for sure guaranteed act as support? No, that's not how any of this works. There's no guarantees. But is it plausible to think that it could act as support if the price comes down to that pink line? Absolutely. So if you're kind of wanting to see more of a pullback, then the 4-hour time frame is revealing that right here around the 105, 830-ish area could be an interesting pullback point. And then just thinking out loud, even from a like strictly a trading standpoint, I mean, whoops. You get long here, you put a stop loss, slightly below the purple line, which is the 50 period simple moving average. So right here is your risk. But then if you get even just kind of a modest bounce off of that area, and let's just say it retests the highs up to basically right here, then when you compare, your risk to your reward, seems to be a nice little risk versus reward scenario. But like I said, that's just me thinking out loud as I looked at it. And then let's drop down to the hourly here just to see if there's I think this trend line's already been broken. Yeah, okay, so it's price is kind of sloppy in regards to that trend line, so I'm not sure that that's necessarily worth it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's something in here to keep an eye on. I don't know. If you're like, Clay, I totally disagree with that trend line, I would not be offended. Friendly reminder, if you're enjoying, make sure you hit the like button. As I was telling people earlier, these Saturday live streams, last Saturday I didn't even do one. Because I'm not quite sure, is it actually worth it? Do people actually enjoy? So if you are enjoying, if you are finding this valuable, again, hitting that like button is a way to communicate that to me and just give me feedback on, is this actually worth it? But all right, there is Bitcoin again. For those of you getting logged on, I'm taking requests for stocks, futures, crypto, forex. If you have questions about just trading in a general sense, if you have questions about life, if you have questions about real estate investing, because I do invest in real estate, if you have questions about prop firms, because I do use prop firms in my futures trading, please ask. This is all a viewer-driven live stream on Saturdays. During the week, I don't really need I mean, I prefer it, but I don't need it because I can just look at the market because the markets are open and I'm trading. TFCL, taking a look at some oil. What is going on with oil? I know it's been... All right, let's just... All right, interesting oil. Hey, Dogs of War T... Now, Dogs of War, why are you... Okay, are you new to the futures world, Dogs of War? Or have you been... or do you have experience? So, taking a look here on oil. Looking bearish, but it's kind of what I would call a very skeptical bearish. Or at least... modestly, or here we go. Here's the right word. Can you tell English is my first language? Cautiously bearish. Okay, then I'm curious. Please don't tell me you're going to go trade oil futures, Dogs of War. That's not your plan, is it? I'm curious why somebody that has no experience in futures even really cares about oil futures. So that's not where you're thinking of starting, is it? Okay, good. All right, good. You're just asking, I suppose, out of pure curiosity. Then fair enough. But yeah, if you are brand new to futures, from a day trading standpoint, And day trading futures is way better than anything else. Futures make everything else look like paint drying. I would say start with, and hopefully this is already your plan, Dogs of War, but either MNQ or MES. That's what I would start. And then once you kind of get your feet wet, get your bearings, if you want to just, get rid of the M and then just trade the NQ or the ES, that's fine too. But anyways, so why am I cautiously bearish? Well, let's get this drawn into play. So I'm just going to use the top part of the pattern right here, the pink line, which is the 200 period moving average. And what we have here from a pattern standpoint is we do have the price making a little bit of, movement up. Then we do have this flat area of resistance. But when you ask yourself, well, what was happening for all this? Well, you had the big old drop right here. So we are looking at a bear pennant pattern. Now, the reason why I'm cautiously bearish is I would personally would not. I would not short the breakdown of this pattern. Let's turn this into a quiz question. What do you think has me a little worried, a little concerned about entering in on the short side on a breakdown of that trend line? Let me know. We'll turn this into a quick little live learning quiz question. Again, this is a bearish pennant, but I personally would be very nervous, would be very cautious and skeptical to short, to get into this trade on a break of this area right here. Why? Why do you think that's the case? To get short on the break of that trend line. Let's see what people can cook up. See what people's thoughts are. Even if you don't know, just say don't know. Oh, good. I'm glad I asked. Some of you are, because this is a very basic thing. So again, even if you don't know, if you don't know, just type 2. If you don't know, type 2. The number 2. Because I'm trying to figure out, is it even worth it to try to teach people, or is this just like, Clay? Give everybody a little bit more. All right, Sharon, fair enough. Good. To not know is to know. Okay. Yes, good job to Todd and Rick. Look what's right below this pattern. George, that's all right at their site. So on the 50K, it tells you right there. You asked about NQ right there, 6. So back to the question, what we have right below here, the pattern, is the 50 period moving average, which can tend to act as a support. So what I would be very scared of, and what I would say you always want to kind of be cautious of, is you get short right. So let me extend this out, because that is a 50 period moving average. So as time goes by, it'll continue to move and look something like that. So what you don't want to find yourself in as a short is you get short here on the breakdown, and then it hits a very legitimate area that it could bounce, and then it just bounces. And you're like, oh, what happened? I shorted the breakdown. Well, yeah, you did. You shorted the breakdown of the pattern, but you shorted right into a very key moving average. Does that make sense to people? Give me number 1 if that makes sense. About why I would be cautiously bearish, and why, in my opinion, shorting the breakdown is a little bit sketchy when right below you have a very big bounce threat, because you have the big old 50-day simple moving average. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. Give me a 1. Does that make sense? Especially to Will and TF, who gave me wrong answers. Will and TF. Does that make sense? Will said volume. No. TF said news or tweet. Does that make sense? Why the technical? Why? Okay, good. Will. Fantastic. What about you, TF? Do you see what I was at after there? Very good. TF gave me the 1. All right, excellent. So that's why. Now, if this chart looked like this, so if this, there we go. So if that's all we saw right there, and there is no moving average, then oh man, that's pretty beautiful. That's a very beautiful situation. Because in that sense, it's like, okay, all right, yeah. If the price comes down here and breaks, I mean, it could find quite a bit of downwards room. There's really no roadblocks or anything like that. But unfortunately, in this situation, what makes it a little disappointing is, yeah, well, there is that roadblock right there, the 50-period moving average. So now to be fair, who knows? If this breaks, maybe this thing doesn't stand a chance and the price just goes down through there like a warm knife through butter. That's totally possible too. All I'm saying is, me personally, I think you can find better edges for bear pennant breakdowns. A better edge being where you just don't have the 50-period moving average sitting right below the breakdown point. So just something to keep in mind from that angle. Let's check out the hourly. And this should be changed to green because that is technically a support trend line. I'm gonna. So on the hourly, we have more so. Yeah, pretty much an ascending triangle. Yeah. Direct bounce, or I should say direct rejection. So right there at about 66.43. So just from an overall pattern perspective. I don't know if this is the best ever looking ascending triangle pattern. But, yeah, an interesting dynamic there. And then let's just check out the 30-minute. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily see anything on the 30-minute that just is glaringly obvious. I mean, maybe 50-period moving average right here is indeed acting as a resistance. Just give me a second. Sorry about this. Again, I'm in bachelor mode, so I'm texting my wife real quick. All right, we are back in business. So yeah, but yeah, I would be cautiously bearish on CL on oil headed into next week. Which moving averages do you use the most? I believe, and it's not really about what I use the most, it's what do most traders use? Because if you're using moving averages that most people use, then you can start to get some of those self-fulfilling prophecies. So in my opinion, I think all traders should have the 50 and the 200 period simple moving averages on their chart. Because those seem to be kind of the pillars, the backbones, where any book, anything really, they're going to be talking about the 50 and the 200. Now, that doesn't mean there's anything guaranteed about them, but it's same exact reason why I think all day traders should at least use the 5-minute within their strategy somewhere, because the 5-minute, very, very popular time frame, so you can start to get some self-fulfilling prophecies within those areas. But yeah, what moving averages do I use the most? Well, that would depend. That would be strategy dependent, situation dependent. So I'm just reframing your question a little bit. I would say just from a general sense, I would say you should have, and I would say at least experiment with it, the 50 and the 200 period moving average, and then kind of go from there. All right. What is my top Dookie Pie? I don't like questions like that. Dookie, why do I smell? Why am I getting the impression that you just are looking for somebody to tell you what to do and you're going to just go and just blindly follow? Is my nose off, Dookie? Or if it is, would not be the first time my nose is off, Dookie. But I'm smelling something, and I don't like to smell that when somebody shows up. What's your top trade for next week? Actually, no. Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, no. My top trade is I have no idea. My nose is off. All right. Fair enough. Because I day trade futures, and I day trade NQ and MNQ. And that's it. I'm lazy. And I used to do that. I'm assuming you probably mean like from stocks, but I don't search for stuff anymore. I don't search for trades. I don't search for anything. And that's the beautiful thing about futures is you don't have to scan. You don't have to like find a top trade because you already know what you're going to trade every single day because every single day the thing that you trade gives you multiple very worthwhile opportunities. So yes, I don't have a top trade because I'm not searching for any trades. I already know what I'm going to watch. And then I'll wait for a setup to develop. So that is your question kind of illustrates very much so one of the great things about futures is that you don't have to do scanning, you don't have to figure stuff out. You find something that you like to trade, and then that same thing every single day gives you many opportunities. So I have no top trade because I'm not scanning, I'm not looking for top trades. I already know what I'm going to trade in because it's the same thing I trade every single day. But good. I'm glad you were not asking that with the attitude of, okay, I'm just going to blindly do it. Believe it or not, it happens. It happens probably more than it should be. But I'm glad that was not your motivation. Do you ever use Bollinger Bands? Do I? Not necessarily, but I mean, I know a lot of people. I have used them. I know people that do use them. It's just a matter of kind of figuring out what works best for you. Again, if you have a request, if you have a question, if the live stream is going to continue, it's got to be viewer driven. Do you recommend using TradingView or NinjaTrader? I recommend using what you feel most comfortable with. But what I use is I use Tradovate right here. So yeah. It's all about your personal preference, though. There's no right or wrong. So that's what I recommend, George. Use what you feel most comfortable with. I happen to use Tradovate, but that doesn't mean that Tradovate is the answer. It's just what I use. Check Bitcoin price now and talk about it. No, I just did Bitcoin. I don't know, like 10 minutes ago. So already looked at Bitcoin. Again, let's see. What else can I potentially... we should probably just look at the SPY. So SPY also has broken. Looks very similar. Yeah, there you go, George. If you're already familiar with TradingView, I would say that seems like a very logical place to start. And if you want to test out Tradovate, yeah. But there you go. Yes, TradingView sounds like... That's the best way, the smartest way to go about it. Yeah, all right. So we already did look at ES also, which is just the futures for the S&P 500. So those charts look pretty much the exact same. Come on, people. Questions. Give me a stock. Give me a Forex pairing. Give me futures. Bro, I pass a lot of... eval. I don't know. You got to just keep trading. Don't let it get too much into your head. Hymns. Okay, we can take a look at hymns. Dookie Pie, are you a day trader? Are you a day trader? And I'm getting the impression that you day trade stocks. Is that true, Dookie Pie? Actually, I think I did hymns in this video. Momentum trader and okay, so momentum trader, so you're looking to buy and sell on the same day, play momentum? Like you're looking to day trade, is that true? I mean, Cesar, I'm still thinking about your answer. I pass a lot of evals for TBT, but I blow up all the... You got to trade. So I don't know. Ask yourself, why are you trading them differently? Like the price action isn't... It's not like you all of a sudden get different price action. The price action is the same. Okay. All right. I was going to suggest you should move into futures if you're well, you should. If you are trying to day trade well, okay. Is the reason why it's here and there because of the pattern day trading rule and you have to conserve your day trades? Is that why you're a momentum trader here and there? If I can try to piece together these, is that why, Dookie Pie? Again, in your ideal world, would you like to be able to day trade momentum every single day? But right now you can't because of the pattern day trading rule. So you kind of have to pick and choose when you want to use a day trader, and that's why it's therefore you're a momentum day trader here and there. Am I barking up there? Is my nose on in this situation? Do you know how to? You can pick one of those, Carl. Do you know how to set bracket orders to all accounts you copy trade? No, nope, I don't know how to do that. I'm not big into copy trading, so I can't really be of much help in that regard. But he did ask about hymns. I think I might be on something with Dookie Pie. I thought you were gone, Giannis. All right, let's take a look at hymns. Once you pass your test, Giannis, all that's explained in the email they'll send you. Did you? I can't remember. Did you pass one of your tests? Hey, thanks, Alan. I appreciate you providing that context. What do you think about Zim as a long term? All right, Dookie Pie just disappeared. Tiff, do you ever track the cash markets against the futures? No. I try not to overwhelm myself. I try my best to avoid paralysis by analysis. All right, cool, Deonis. Well, then keep writing the email. They'll email you, and it'll all be. Just read your emails. I am amazed. I will say this: I am amazed at how many people. I guess I'm not that amazed. But especially in the prop firm world, you pass your test account, and then they start emailing you. The amount of people that are like, "Well, no, I skimmed the emails." It's like, what are you talking about? That's kind of important stuff. So just don't skim, Giannis. Read the emails, and it'll all be explained in there. Dookie Pie, you didn't even answer my question. Oh. Okay, one final try, because I'm trying to help you out, Dookie Pie. You said you're a momentum day trader here and there. Is the reason why it's here and there because you're stuck under the pattern day trading rule? So you have to conserve, you have to choose wisely your day trades. So is that why you're a momentum day trader, in your words, here and there? No? Oh. Okay. Gotcha. Let's see. All right. IWM. All right, IWM, nice movement here to really start to maintain up above that pink line, which is the 200 period moving average. So tried right there, failed. Tried there, failed there during that day. But then let's see what would that have been. Then on Thursday, nice recovery back above it. And then on Friday, actually staying up above it, but not the best looking candle here that inspires this movement wants to get continuation. No one candle does not make or break a chart. But yeah, that's not from a bullish side of things, at least that's not the most confidence inducing candle right there. But just because, this doesn't necessarily get continuate. Whoops. Let's make that a little smaller. Just because that doesn't get, continuation right away doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong with the chart or anything like that. So if there is some sort of pullback, then not a big deal. Now, well, when would it become a big deal on a pullback? If the price drops down below that purple line there, that's where things start to become more of a big deal in the sense of being a little worrisome. But that is the 50-period moving average. So as time goes by, that line, basically moving averages are trend lines for lazy people. Because if you don't feel like drawing the trend line because you're lazy, well, a moving average will draw the trend line for you. So as this moving average moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above there, then as you can see there, by definition, that does imply that the price is still in an overall uptrend. So that's where it would become worrisome. So it's not like I said, if this fails to get any more continuation and drops back below the pink line, sure, that's not preferable and not the end of the world, but you would certainly want to see it stay up above that purple line there. We'll take a look at the hourly time frame real quick. Yeah, not seeing a whole lot there. What about the 30-minute? Okay, so I don't know exactly your strategy, but right here, the 30-minute seems though the price is really wanting to respect and has respected now that purple line, the 50 period right there. Right there actually bounced, nice respect. Right there, didn't quite hit it, but got relatively close and respected it. So yeah, as right now, price seems to really be respecting that purple line. So potentially a level that you could build a trade plan around. Okay, Alan, what is your opinion on Zim long term? So I would assume the lowest you'd care about is, well, long term, I think, preferably speaking, the price now stays above that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. If that doesn't hold above it, not the end of the world, because you then still have the purple line, or excuse me, the pink line right there, the 200 period moving average, which you can see got a good bounce off it right there. But keep in mind, maybe I'm still talking about areas that don't really pertain to you because you're thinking longer term. But let's actually look at the weekly real quick. Weekly just means that each one of these candlesticks now represents an entire week. So one candlestick here is 1 week worth of time. So yeah, all right, I feel better about this. So per your thing, long term, there is what I would call the quote unquote long term trend line right there. So that's the level that I would say. Let me change that to green to represent more so a support. But that is a level where I would say long term per your requirements. As long as the price stays above there, then the long term trend is up. The price is building higher bases, and that's what it's really all about. You want to see prices build higher lows, and that's what that trend line right there is representing. And then the long-term area of resistance, the level that I would say needs to be broken if this thing's got any sort of chance of, making another push, higher, would be right up there around $19.60, which is just the, where the price has been rejected a couple times right there. So there you go. That would be kind of the long-term analysis is, I'd say, get that trend line in place. And as long as the price stays above there, then, I would not say any major red flags, again, from the long-term perspective. Hey, did you see the 4-hour trend line on NQ? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we got there from another time frame. Let's check out the 4-hour time frame. I got to be honest, I was thinking that there would be some like blatantly obvious trend line. I'm not sure I'm not sure I see what you see, Nero. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that I was getting ready for the trend line that I just drew on ZIM. Like that thing was pretty blatantly in your face. So yeah, I don't quite see what you're seeing here on the NQ 4-hour. Been thinking about what I'm going to do next. Going to take the hooch approach and do another 25K. But stick with micros. Yeah. Worth a try. I mean, worst case scenario, you're out, what, $105? So, gotta love the power prop firms. A good amount for experimentation. You think HIMS is a good trade next week? Perhaps, yeah, maybe. I think I did. Let me see here real quick. I want to say I did HIMS as part of this one. Yeah. So if you want my thoughts on HIMS, Dookie Pie, you can just, I'll link it right here to you. That I did HIMS was part of that video I did right there on Friday. Whoops, I didn't mean to. Again, if you're getting logged on, I'm taking requests. Could be a stock, could be futures, could be crypto, could be a question. Could be a question about prop firm strategy because I am a day trader in futures through a prop firm. I think a lot of my issues lately have been making the right play, but not being able to let it marinate. So not being patient enough would make sense. GC, all right. Somebody cares about, yeah, what's gold been up to? All right, we'll just. So oh, really? Really? That is pretty, okay. So I would say the most interesting dynamic here on gold is this is the first time this year, and we are over half in, wow, time flies. I could have sworn we were just watching the ball drop, and I was just giving my wife a big old smooch on New Year's Eve. And now we're already halfway over the year. Good, time flies. Is like, it is a cliche saying, but goodness, it is true. Anyways, so this is the first time this year where the price has been down below that purple line there, which is the 50-day simple moving average. You can see, I guess technically speaking, started off below it. But point here being, it's broken above that purple line right here, came down, bounced off of it, right there, got close to it, bounced off of it. Right here, went slightly below it, but notice it never closed below it. And then the past few days here, the price been hovering right around. But then on Friday, it happened. The price has officially closed down below the 50-day simple moving average. Now, does this mean that it is guaranteed to plummet? It's game over. I'm not making any of those claims. My only claim is that this is a territory that it has not been in for many, many months. And technically speaking, when key levels like this are violated, it can be the early indicator that there is more downside pressure to come. But again, there are no guarantees, and I wish I could say trading was as easy as, oh, just wait for something and close below its 50-day simple moving average and then go short because it's for sure going to go down. If only it were that easy. I'm only saying that this is a leading indicator that potentially it makes sense to at least question, hey, are the bears going to start to show up? And we'll have to see if that does indeed occur. Next key level of support, or potential support, I should say, where maybe the buyers show up right down there around the 32.05 mark. And I'll map out one more area just in case. And then after 32.05, next key level after that would be down there around 31.17. Now, who knows if either of those get tested, but if they do get tested, let alone broken, then that would be another piece of evidence that the bulls are starting to lose control. Now, from the big picture point of view, that's where the pink line here, the 200-day simple moving average, comes into play. But that's still pretty irrelevant given the price isn't anywhere close to those. But yeah, interesting, very interesting dynamic here, just in that alone. In the near term now, the key area of resistance, I would say, is the 50-day simple moving average. So that's right now valued basically right there at 33.35. And that's just based on a foundational rule in charting where when levels of support are broken, they can tend to act as resistance. So if this all of a sudden does start to behave as resistance, that would just be further confirmation that, yeah, this is a genuine breakdown. But, I mean, if on Monday the price snaps right back above it, well, and at that point, this would just be considered a false breakdown. There wasn't any sort of genuine power behind it. Dookie Pie, I'd say interject some intellectual humility into your thoughts. It will keep going down. No. Nothing will happen in trading. There are no guarantees. Now, it might keep going down. You may feel as though the odds are likely that it keeps going down. You may feel that the edge suggests that it will keep going down. That the edge is suggesting there's a possibility it goes down. But to say that anything will happen in the markets is a good way to get yourself destroyed. Because no, nothing will happen. There are no guarantees in the market. And by the way, if people are talking about this big news that's coming on the 4th, well then, if you've never heard, buy the rumor, sell the news. So the very fact you're talking about news that's coming on July 4th, that is the rumor. That's when things tend to creep up. Like, I don't know how many of you are here for the whole Dogecoin, but remember Dogecoin, oh, Elon Musk was going to talk about it on SNL and it was going to explode because he's going to talk about it in SNL. And then what happened when he actually talked about it in SNL? Does anybody remember? It crashed. Because again, you buy the rumor, you buy all the hype, you buy all the hoopla, you buy all the excitement about, oh man, when Elon Musk talks about it on SNL. So same thing here. Okay, Trump's supposed to give big news. Well, okay, you would want to buy the rumor, you would want to buy the hype, you would want to buy the excitement to this news, but on this news, odds are it'll probably go down because it's, again, cliche saying, but it's a very legitimate saying in trading and in just the financial markets. You buy the rumor and you sell the news. If they're in IWM, they could hedge with M2K. It's true. Let's see. Bitcoin isn't a big bull flag on the daily. Yeah, Brandy, we've talked about Bitcoin already within the live stream. Could you look at RZLV? I can. RZLV. Dog Trader, please don't tell me you bought like right there. Hopefully you didn't buy somewhere up around there. Soon I will join the community. Well, we'll be happy to have you, Dominique. Happy to have you. All right. Well, this is one where there's some people that hopefully, well, I mean, it did happen. So people that FOMO'd, people that chased anywhere up here, anybody that tried to play the breakout and did not scalp, that got stubborn, they're not having a good weekend because, wow, that's nasty. Because if you're not familiar with how candlesticks work, that is telling us that the price did go up in this area. There is one part of the day where the price was up around this area. Problem is, by the time the closing bell rang, the price closed down here. So there are some people quite a bit underwater. Have a gumball. I'll see if I can find a gumball somewhere. Thank you. So yeah, that's why I asked Dog Trader. I hope you were not anybody in the yellow circle, and if you were, hopefully you were using a stop loss and you honored it. But yeah, daily is not looking so good at all. Got the fake breakout, and as the price came back, let me take a sec. Fake breakout of the pink line, the 200-day simple moving average. You can see that area just flat out rejected it on Thursday. So it makes sense why it did. Price broke above it. Probably a lot of people got excited. Oh, we're through the breakout point. And then, yeah, the sellers just showed up in a big way. And I don't know, was this, this is a small cap. Was this the company that all of a sudden started to dump shares? Pure speculation. I have no idea. But wouldn't be the first time, would not be shocking given, again, small caps, this price range. Companies love to take advantage of hype, love to take advantage of momentum to raise money. So maybe they were part of the supply and sellers that showed up. But yeah, not looking so hot on the daily. Let's see, what does the hourly have to say? So hourly have a nice little where if this trend line could hold, that'd be a nice little sign of strength. Oh, never mind. Well, I guess it is holding. Showing a few kinks in the armor with the price breaking down below, but to be fair, the price has actually worked its way back above that green line. Hey, Geeth, pick one. Now, if you want to do anything beyond one request, that's fine, but $5 super chats. And I just do that because if I don't put any constraints, then I'm gonna, one person is gonna hog the entire airtime. Be like, okay, can you do this one and then this one and then this one? So pick which one. Again, I'll do both, but one of them would take a $5 super chat. So if it's that important to you, you can do that. But if not, just pick one of those. So yeah, it's hanging in there. It's hanging on by a thread here. On the hourly, what's the 30-minute looking like here? Yeah, I can't say the 30 minutes really bringing any new information to the table. Maybe just that in the very near term, key resistance area to watch. 50 period moving average. So 285, I would call that kind of an important near-term area of resistance if this thing's going to try to get any sort of momentum back to the upside. Thanks. I tried it at 3. Are you still in it? I would assume you're still in it. All right, so you got in right there. Gotcha. What's your stop loss at, Dog Trader? Could you shed some light on Hey, Geeth, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the context. Very good. Could you shed some light on PPTA in a long-term sense? Very good. There's nothing scarier when somebody shows up and says, what do you think about, and then type in blank. It's like, well, do you mean that from a day trading standpoint, from an investment standpoint, from a swing trading standpoint? So I appreciate that, Geeth. All right, let's take a look at PPTA from long-term. So we'll go bare minimum daily time frame. All right, well, on the daily time frame, I guess a couple ways you could look at this from, again, a longer-term sense is you could get this, and maybe it doesn't really matter because they're basically mimicking one another, but you could get this trend line in place, but when you, or you could just use the 200-day simple moving average right there, that pink line. Like I said, they're based, I mean, they're running parallel to one another. They're not exactly, obviously. Really what I'd probably do is just, call this a support zone. So this distance right here just is the support zone. Meaning as long as it's, between those two levels, not that big of a deal. But if it were to break below that area, then that'd be a sign from, again, the bigger picture sense that the bears have pretty much taken back over. Because that, and now medium-term traders are definitely going to say, what are you talking about? They have taken back over. The bears have taken back over. The price used to be up here. Whoops. The price used to be up here, and now it's all the way down, here. Fair enough. But again, from a broad, long-term sense, to be fair, the price is still above its 200-day simple moving average. It is still above this trend line, but if the price were to drop below both those, then at that point, I don't see how you can make an argument that from any perspective, it's still bullish. Because right now, short term, you can't say it's bullish. Medium term, you can't say it's bullish. But long term, you can still say it's bullish for those reasons that it is at least still up above that 200-day simple moving average. And then in the near term, if there is any sort of bounce, then yeah, I would say that the key level would be right there at around $13.70. RKLB just hit all-time highs. All right, let's take a look at RKLB. Apparently I did this one a while ago. Yeah, looking like maybe a bit of a pullback. So, I mean, again, I don't know what anybody's strategy would be, but if you like to try to play, kind of back tests and goes, that was a former area of resistance. You can see right there it was resistance. There it was resistance. And then the price broke above it here. So things, can tend to back test where they broke out from. So does it come back down here, find some support, and then work its way back upwards? No idea. But more than plausible to throw out that as a suggestion. So I would say just 3280 is what I would call the ideal level. I mean, if say, Clay, from a broad sense, what would make this chart look the healthiest moving forward? And that would definitely be if the price can stay up above 3280. But from the big picture standpoint of things, even if the price drops below that level, it's not like it's the end of the world because you do still have the purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. So as that line moves higher and higher, if you want to just use that as a trend line, then as long as the price does stay above that overarching trend line, then I don't really see any major concerns. And then in terms of areas of resistance, very straightforward here. Just a question of, well, where did the party stop on Friday? And the party stopped right up there at 37.75. So no need to overcomplicate the logic there. 37.75 is what I would consider the key area to watch as far as resistance is concerned. Let's see. Long-term RBRK. RBRK. All right. So near term, yeah, a little bearish. There's been a pullback, but assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, so we have this resistance trend line right there illustrating the pullback, but at the same time, you have that trend line right there. So if I change that to green to represent support, and then again, assuming you care about which this person, who was it? Mike does, because he's specifically asking about the long term. Well, from the long term, all you're looking at here is sure, near term, pullback. You can't deny that. But part of caring about the long term is asking, okay, well, fair enough. Sure, it's pulled back the past couple of weeks. But what was happening before the past couple of weeks? Well, there's this big old move right here. And then if we put the golf hole down here, for you golfers out there, you're looking at a multi-month, multi-day bull pennant pattern. Not just because something's in a bullish pattern does not, mean guaranteed for sure the price is going to work its way upwards. But I don't think anybody, in the world of technical charts would be shocked if this thing consolidated out, got the break, and then found some more momentum. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but certainly a more than valid question to throw out there. Just with the overall bull pennant, like I said, multi-day pattern there. Oh, yeah. And then same holds true on the weekly. Yeah. Look at that. Weekly may be even better to see it. So resistance, support. That's kind of an ugly wedge, but yeah. Golf hole down here. So there we go. It's looking like I'm caught up. Well, you know what? I think I might just go ahead and call this mission complete. I think I appreciate everybody that was here, but just from a test, which makes sense. I mean, it's Saturday night, so I'm not sure what quite I expected. I guess I got pretty much what I expected. Not a whole lot of interaction, not a whole lot. So pretty much a failure of a live stream, but that's okay. You can't fail at something unless you give it a try. So, what about CRZ on a swing with buyout news? Well, I mean, this is starting to sound more like a gamble than any sort of actual technically based trade. Because if the buyout news happens, then it works out great. If the buyout news doesn't happen, then this thing pretty much down the toilet. From what is that a fair understanding, Michael? Well, all right. So the buyout news has occurred. So now it's just pretty much yeah. Right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but at this point, I'm assuming the buyout news has been announced, and that's what created that right there. So now if the buyout does not happen, it's cratering. If it does happen, well then, what's the buyout price? And it'll go there. So yeah, this doesn't seem like very much of a technical play anymore. It just seems like it's strictly news dependent. So yeah, I mean, it's it's turned more into a fundamental play, I would say. Like if you do your fundamental analysis and you have good reason, no, I really do think this buyout is going to complete. The buyout is true. Because if it doesn't turn out, then yeah, the chart's not going to really matter. The price is just gonna crater. So, all right, well, everybody, thank you for being here. If you did enjoy, again, hit that like button. Yeah, Saturday night's probably not going to be the best time. I just didn't know if I could catch a bunch of people that were kind of hanging out, but yeah, can't say. Hey, Mark, good to see you. I didn't know you were here. So, all right, everybody. I appreciate it. For those of you that are maybe new, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. I do live stream every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. And I'm actually trading. So I trade futures. So if you want to just see some futures trading, all that, then make sure you swing by at 11. Can we get one more like? Let's at least get this up to 50 likes. That'd be good. We got at least one more like out there. That'll actually feel like a small victory to get this up to 50 likes. There, thank you. Whoever was number 50, I appreciate it. And if you are interested in getting involved in day trading futures through a prop firm, then the prop firm that I'm using is up at the top there. Make sure you use code CLAY. That'll give you the discount. It'll help support the stream, and I do appreciate it. So, well, everybody have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And like I said, I will see those of you back on Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So take care. Have a good